This land is your land. This land is my land. From California, well, to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the...
Welcome to Markie's World. I'm Markie Shinn, your host. And today's guest is Spike Rebel, but he has another name.
Carnell Condon Newbill.
That's a nice name.
Condon, it means something spiritual. I don't know where they picked that from. That's my middle name. But my father, who's deceased, is Carnell Newbill. So I'm really Carnell Newbill Jr. And the Newbills are from Arkansas.
How do you spell that first name?
Carnell.
Carnell.
Like Darnell, Parnell, Arnell.
Well, that's the first time I ever heard of Carnell.
Yeah.
Have you heard that before?
No, just my father.
Just your father?
That's it.
Oh, okay. It's a nice name. I like that.
Thank you.
And so, here we go. So where did the name Spike Rebel come from?
Actually, when I was starting doing music and in a younger age, everybody said you gotta go to New York, Big Apple. If you don't make it in New York, you ain't nothing.
You can't make it anywhere.
So I was doing little side jobs and playing around with music here and there, and then I said, I'm going to New York. That's where the rebel part came, because my mother kept saying, you ain't gonna make it. Like as if I gotta be hardcore or thug or something.
Right.
She's just like, you've been mama's boy.
Wow.
You know, good grades. No, you're not gonna make it. And I went and I left.
But that's what gives a person determination and motivation.
Now the spike came from actually not in grammar school, not really in high school. It came in college.
Oh, okay.
My first year in college as a freshman, people were saying, you look like Spike Lee. And it was another guy that did fashion that was Spike something. And I'm saying, okay. Do you know Air Jordan? What was that, School Days?
Right.
So I was pledging Omega Psi Phi, so you know that was the name they gave me.
Oh.
Spike, dog. But
you must have been very little.
I was skinny.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
I can see it.
And they had me G5G and Omega, all that stuff. You know, I'm AKA Spike Rebel Jazzman. Da 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 da. They would crack up because I look just like
them. Oh my.
So Spike Rebel, and the Rebel is because my parents came up a certain way. You get a good job, you get 501, what the 401k, you go to church, get married, and I'm saying, okay, but I see something else. And so I went this way. So that makes me the black sheep of the family. That's like everybody get to get jobs and get stable.
Right,
I'm going,
they're becoming productive citizens.
Yes. And I'm pursuing my heart, and the thing is, I said, why do I make certain people in the family upset when you don't follow that thing? When you're not hurting people, you're not going to jail, creating crimes. You're following something inside of you.
You know why? Because when people say that you can't do it, they know that they can't do it. See, that's something that they know.
So they made a choice to stay safe versus the unknown route that might take you to. Not necessarily money, but fulfilling who you're living who you are.
The thing is, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. Like Nike. Like Nike. Just do it.
Just do it.
I like that.
Yeah. If you have a desire or a want for something, just do it. Life is too short to mess around with somebody else's feelings.
So my father was more on that just do it side. He didn't say just do it. He would say have a plan A and a B.
Oh,
you know,
that
stay focused on A, and we plan to do B. You know, and that's kind of what I went on. You know, I always had a teaching job on the side, or I've been a police officer. I've worked for different things using your hands to.
Are you an only child?
No, I have a brother who's
So it's just two of you on?
It's two of us.
How old is your brother?
My brother is a year and a half younger. So I'm 52. So he's like 50. Going on 51 or something.
Oh,
and we're like opposites. but we meet in the middle. But we're definitely, we think different. He's a military guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So his structure and approach to things, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's a little different from the way I see things.
Because they're strict. I know I have a son that's military.
For certain situations, there's an advantage to being that way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not real life to me, you know. Whereas
it's holding back on feelings and emotions.
Feelings and emotions, and then things in life just happen differently. For example, if you were my brother and said, "Go to Walmart and bring me this and be back at 1 o'clock."
Right.
Okay, I heard him. And if you don't come back at 1 o'clock, then it's a consequence.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to Walmart and I see a fight or an accident and I get out to help, or I see all that. Hey, it just switched up the whole thing.
Right. It postponed you.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and he may not want to. Hey, I said want to. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a short example of just life through curveballs.
So after you got out of school, now when did by the way, let me explain to you who he is. He's an artist and a musician. And what other things do you do?
Probably a good songwriter. I've never considered myself a poet, but I read so much and I know how to put words into. So songwriting would contain all of that.
Oh, yeah. So
I've been asked to be
love songs?
all kinds of songs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, consulting. That's something. If I didn't pursue music, it would have been like advertisement or designing.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Something where you're creating, customizing words for stores and businesses and logos and that kind of thing. And consulting. I've always seen everybody always have.
Have you ever thought about designing games? Because that is like that's
I never thought about designing games.
Oh,
probably inventing some games,
that's
but
what
never.
I mean.
Yeah.
When you and then putting it on the computer and where everyone else can play it, and then they have the route on how following the route on how to from A to Z,
Right.
how to conquer each level.
Yeah. Well, I came up on Atari. Remember the game?
Right.
Take the tennis. Ding. So then, with the stuff they have now, it's so high tech and almost real people.
I know.
But I still like the old Atari. Everybody knows Space Invaders and Asteroids and So I like a lot of things that deal with magnets and marbles and stuff. Those games that it's like a challenge to figure out how the gravity works against it or something.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So I'm a kid at heart. I still have remote control cars. I have a bunch of drones. I'm not good at them, but I have a bunch of drones.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Now, did you make your own drones?
No, I don't make them.
Oh, okay.
I just buy them and then try to, they end up in a tree or broke. Then you slow down. But
are you a hoarder?
No, I'm not a hoarder.
Okay.
No, I'm not a hoarder.
Okay.
Yeah, it might look like clutter if you put all my stuff together, but it's not hoarding. No. Yeah, you can put me in an empty room and I'll still be okay. But I have tons of instruments.
What was your first instrument that you got more acquainted with?
First instrument was the piano.
Okay.
And my mother told me at a young age, you have a choice. You can do the karate lessons you've been talking about, or you can get this piano. Now, if I buy the piano, you ain't no karate lessons. You're gonna take some lessons.
Oh.
So I like music.
Yeah.
I saw the records in my house, and my mom listened to Aretha Franklin. My father listened to Bobby Blue Bland.
Right.
So karate or music, but I wasn't so hot on piano.
Mm-hmm.
But I said music. Next thing you know, every Saturday I'm taking piano lessons in my why did I pick piano on Saturday? And my brother, he's watching TV and the cartoons and all of that. But
isn't it wonderful to have parents who would try to feed your imagination?
Yeah, but when you listen to music, that's not the same as being trained to play it. It's sight read and play chords they open the gospel hymn book and then you playing. That's not what's on the radio.
Right, that is not.
But when I got in high school, all of that came into play to be like, wow, I'm kind of ahead of some people because I had learned the foundation.
Right.
So if you learn the foundation on piano, it's easy to go to other instruments.
To grasp that.
You know, and so that was a blessing in disguise because I felt like, man, for 2-3 years I wasted my Saturdays. I could have been playing games or watching the cartoons, and no, I'm learning how to play something that actually became a skill.
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah.
So then after with the piano, then it was what?
Then it was guitar at the back of the attic in my father's basement, my mom's basement. I saw that guitar. It didn't have the strings on it, but I knew it was a guitar, not a bass, it was a guitar. And I knew from watching videos that group Kiss.
Oh, wow.
They look like superheroes.
You thought they looked like superheroes?
To me, they look like some crazy superheroes.
I just thought they looked
the
crazy.
one with the tongue, the one with the star on his eye.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
So,
that's right.
and then I kind of took interest on Prince too.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, they all play the guitar. And then outside of
Even
Prince,
Michael Jackson, the Jacksons.
Yeah. But outside of that, you had B.B. King.
Right.
I'm looking through these albums and my father's thing, B.B. King, all of these, what's the name, Chuck Checker? And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But they all had all these fans for playing that guitar. The guitar looked cool.
Yeah.
The piano don't look that cool to me. The guitar looked cool. So when I saw that guitar there, I said, Dad, he fixed it. He saw I was hungry for it, gave me guitar lessons.
Oh, that's great.
And that's where it started.
Your father gave you the guitar
He gave
lessons?
me guitar lessons. He didn't give me he took me the guitar lessons. He paid for some.
Okay.
And then what I realized, B.B. King don't sound like Kiss.
Right.
It's the same, it looked like the same instrument. Okay, but how come on GCI or on the radio, the R&B stuff guitar don't sound nothing like
rock and roll too.
So later on you figure out it's a distortion pedal and effects and all that. It's a totally different technique. So, you know, but the superhero look of Kiss, that was like cool.
That was
Versus Liberace. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody just playing Roberta Flack on the piano. That's fine. But I always had that edge motorcycle vibe. Like they motorcycle riders got the guitar on the back. You know, they don't have no piano.
That is so good. That is so nice.
So guitar was my main thing, and that carried that. And guitar and keyboard carried me through high school, college, because all your bands need those things.
Oh, okay. And then did you make some money off of that, or this was just a hobby?
It was more of a hobby. Even in grammar school, I played guitar when they have assemblies and they want you to play. If they're Western sing or something, I was always playing on the keyboard or the bass. My
Talent
church,
shows.
Talent shows. My church allowed me to play keyboards too. So that was another growing thing, because some churches you play straight out the hymn book. You don't change no notes.
Oh, okay.
To some degree, I would say that's corny. But for certain church things, that's, you know, Jesus loves you this side. And that's good. But then you hear, you go to another kind of church, Jesus. They get into it, and it's not the same. It's in the same key, but the chords is different. So I started. When you go to school for keyboards, that's not the same as what I'm hearing those guys that don't read music.
Right. Yeah. Because some of these churches are,
But they're cold.
Their major thing is you have to hear.
They say I play by ear. Okay, but in college they don't teach you how to. Okay, take it up a half a key. If it's not written, you don't. Where do I go?
What is a half a key? Half a key or what? Huh?
So that's part of experiencing by playing with different bands, and you got to kind of play with different groups, and they say, hey man, no, this is how you do this, or I'll show you this little trick or something. You know. So eventually I started listening to the R&B stuff. That's totally different from classical music.
Yeah.
They both have their. So to me, music is turned into a bouquet of all kinds of stuff.
Do you like the music from the 70s or the 80s, the 90s? Which ones?
70s, 80s, probably the 80s. That was Duran Duran. It was a lot of white groups that black kids listened to in high school.
I listened to a lot.
You know, and in college, I wasn't up on the Police.
Every breath you take.
Lisa and the Cold Jam, Rock the Casbah. All those songs were not us.
Right.
But they were playing them on the radio, and
well, you had to be good to be on the radio. So if you sound good, everybody gonna like it. Because we even like the country, the country songs, Dolly Parton, 9 to 5,
Yeah. So that was the 80s probably.
Diana Summers, you said. Did you
I know Diana Summers, not personally, but the disco era came in. But I realized I was a funkster from a young age. I really like.
Oh, you like that funk stuff?
Funk, soul.
Oh, okay.
That's not Luther Vandross. That's not. You know what I'm saying? The guys and the women that really sing.
Right.
Even like the Patti LaBelle's, or you go back, it's a whole bunch of them. But Jeffrey Osborne, they didn't move me the way George Clinton or Cameo.
Oh, okay.
All those guys. That's the whole thing. They should do a story about all the R&B guys that say all.
Yeah, I think they have done some stories on them.
Johnny Guitar Watson, Earth, Wind and Fire, all those Sly Stone. Yeah. But I'm saying that was.
Have you had your own band before?
I've had well, when I got older, I had a trio called Rhizome, RHIZOME with the little apostrophe.
Oh, okay.
And the drummer found that name. It meant to grow above and below. So like an onion, it was underneath and above.
But that is true.
Yeah. So we took that name, and it was just 3. Because I've always felt that if the drummer could play jazz and funky, and can play and listen and play soft, then I'm free to play guitar, keyboard, and sing.
Right.
And then the bass player holding it down. The audience gotta focus, because it's not like I got all these other things, horns and background things. It's just cue in on those 3 guys, and we all listen to each other and bouncing off within the structure. So I enjoyed that till the bass player got sick, and then he died. So
you all couldn't replace him?
So we couldn't replace him. In the middle of pretty much finishing an album.
Wow.
We didn't cut the vocals, but we had recorded about 12 songs. And in his passing, that's like, that kind of cut, all this time, and then can't be mad, he's gone.
Right. Was that on the spur of the moment, or is it something he?
It was a stroke. He had a stroke,
okay.
And then he didn't come to a couple rehearsals, so we knew something was wrong.
Oh.
But I never wanted to see the stroke. I think it messed his face up, and he could sing too. So when you messed up, you don't want to go back and be seen.
Right.
And then eventually it just got worse, and then he was out of here. So, but that was, he played electric bass too, but he played the upright. Fred Key is his name.
I think right now is a good time for somebody to come out with a nice band, because we've got old and we have the new. And we need somebody like right in the middle there. And this is a good time to kind of like, squeeze on in.
Because I know, I keep my ears fresh to the radio. What's the new stuff? With the sound and the drum machines, and then that whole Motown era and before. I even like Nat King Cole and John Coltrane. I can play that stuff all day in the car. But that's not today's sound that's being marketed.
It's not, but you know what? It can be. That's why I said in between, because all the music of today, unfortunately, you guys, they have stolen everything from the 70s.
And just flipped it. Put a new beat on it or something.
It's a remix of something in the past. And I recognize the music, I recognize the words, and I was like, can they come up with anything for themselves?
Yes. They could if they were not trained, but some leaders in music, the creative, come up and start showing them how to open up.
And I think that the new musicians or the singers now, they probably are. I think they do have talent, but they're not showing it.
Right.
And I don't know anybody's names now. I don't even care to know their names.
Well, this is amazing. Like most of the new ones that come and go.
Yeah.
Most of them.
And you just hear about their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Mainly.
Whereas you go in the past, they're still playing and stuff. So it's like it became classics.
They were consistent with you hear the song back then, I could still hear the song now and like it.
Well, another thing, most of the young guys on the internet or whatever, they're trying to get the numbers, the hits. You know, 1 million people are watching me. So in doing that,
yeah,
that's your following. Okay, you got 1 million followers, but coming up with the Motown, they weren't trying to do all that on the internet like that. So
they had to be good.
They had to
And
be
you had
good.
to be good to get on the radio at all.
And they intermingled with the band and the songwriter. Smokey Robinson wrote this
Right.
and the band, and they switched and they danced and they met choreo. If you're at the computer all day and you like, that's good.
Yeah.
Then I'm just hitting people. I'm not meeting nobody.
Right, yeah, that's true. That is true.
It's like the label's checking me out because I got 1 million some hits and I made some money.
But their music is not even good. They only have like 1 or 2 beats.
So there's advantages and disadvantages. Like you said, the digital stuff, you can play something for like 1 bar, like boom,
Yep.
you go copy, and they play for 4 minutes.
So yeah, it's
Versus somebody that can put some, I guess, a soul when you can put some real.
Man, I would love to hear some music. If someone can come up with the type of music that we had in the 70s, that would have been great.
Yeah.
That would really be great. Even the songwriting back in the 70s.
Well, it's kind of hard because if those old musicians put their lives into their instruments, you know, the sax. I don't always say they show the book because they become the instrument or something.
Right.
But
Yeah,
they put their time. They put hours and
Their
sacrifices
soul. They put their soul into it.
Excuse me. It comes out the instrument. And now today's digital stuff, they just grab a sound and then it's a clip of something.
Right, that's what I was saying.
And then they put the beat on it and then they write something that's not really thought deep. It's not deep. It's like
Right.
some people call it bubble gum. I'm not saying all artists make
I call it
bubble gum stuff,
bubble
but
gum, too.
bubble gum is it just keep saying a simple hook or
Right.
something, and it's like that's not nothing like the stuff that we used to listen to that really has some integrity, you know.
It's amazing that
And that's what they.
they're surviving out here. It is just absolutely amazing. Something else is going on. I don't know what it is.
I still wonder, like, who runs the stations? How do they not allow all those souls that are still alive,
Right.
that made good stuff, get replaced by this other
That's
stuff?
what I'm trying to figure
Yeah, I
out.
can see you blend them, but if it's just this, that's not
Why would
really
you-
fair.
Why would you pay a radio station to listen to that mess? You know, see, you know what? If you are a musician or a singer, whatever you do, it's gonna cost money to do it. So why don't you put the best that you can into it?
Right.
I mean, why can't you make it a masterpiece of your level? You know, this is like James Brown said, I may not be the best, but I'm gonna do, what is that song that he said? I'm gonna do the very best that I can, or something like that. So, why can't they do that? They just say, put anything together, you know, I'm cute. Just put anything together and I could get
So it makes you wonder who are the programmers or who are the mentors of the new artists coming up. You know, the message that they're putting. Why are they allowing that message to bombard? And then Sundays, oh, we have some Taylor show, and now we have the alderman here, and we talk, and then back on Monday it's back to the.
it's.
That's got to be who runs the programming, because it doesn't make sense to me. Like, you're talking about helping the community on Sundays, and the rest of the week you playing bloop bloop bloop.
I know.
You know what they're saying,
right? It's crazy.
You know.
Yes, absolutely, and that's what makes the world think that that's what we are all about.
Yes. And the little ones coming up, that's 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. That's their Motown.
Right. That's their moment. And
they don't even know any of the stuff that
they
we're
out
talking
there,
about.
3 and 4 years old, twerking.
Yeah.
Because they think, you know, their mom taught them how to do it.
And that's another thing with the culture. Like when I went to New York for 7 years, those playing in the park, in those drum circles. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I knew I could play rhythms and funky stuff, but these guys been out there years, older.
Yeah.
Someone wearing robes, they pouring libations, one come out and play. And because I can play sort of, you know, but I didn't know what I was playing. So when one older guy came and tapped me, he's like, oh, brother, we can hear you. Your drum sounds loud, it stands out. But that rhythm that we're playing is sacred. It means this. This other rhythm means that.
Oh, wow.
This rhythm might be there, shake your body and body twerk. But this one over here means that what used to mean come back home to the village because it's about to be a storm or a war.
Right.
This one is to scare people off that shouldn't have the right energy.
It's a message. It's a message.
But how do you get that when we just play music and nobody teaches you that? Then he brought the stick and said, this is how you play this. You play in between the beats. So you do this and do that. So again, yes, I could play, but I didn't know what the heck I'm playing. You know, it's like I'm driving a car. I don't know. You gotta drive a certain way to not, you know.
Right, but isn't it amazing how you can learn so much from someone else?
Yeah.
You know, that you never would even, from what you just got through saying. I mean, how could you get something out of that? You know, that's something you have to be taught inwardly, right?
Yes. And it was an older guy, and he with the beard and the nice robe, and he plays there every week, and he gave a blessing. Like we bless other people, you know, lifters and climb. As I'm playing, he must have saw something in me, because he, out of 30 people in the drum circle, he walked over there to me. He didn't say anything mean. He was more like, I'm going to show you how, and this is what this means. And by the way, here's a stick that he made with the tape around it to play a certain way. Like some people play with a stick and a hand.
Right, yeah.
So, like I was showing you the other day, the hand goes, you go, brr, brr, brr. So that was a gift.
That was a gift.
He gave me that I kept
for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And maybe you could pass on to someone else.
Yeah. So today, a lot of the students, most stuff we hear on the radio, on the mainstream radio, is drum machines. You might hear a real drummer on jazz or gospel in the churches, you know, but for the most part, the commercial stuff is drum, you know, program stuff. And I'm not saying that's bad, there's an advantage to it, but okay, if you get married, do you want the musician to be the drum machine guy, or he's playing MP3, something, you know, something on the phone, versus a guy that's playing the guitar? And then if you, let's say something goes wrong, I can keep playing, I could move around. If you got a program, you can't slow it down.
Relying on technology.
Yeah, so that's the downfall.
It is a downfall that we have. If we could just stop everything for a hot second, turn the television off, turn the Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that crazy. Yeah, that would be great. It would be really nice.
It would make us go inward, probably.
Yeah, it would. It would be. I had a really nice time when we were quarantined.
Okay.
Yeah,
some people loved it and some hated it.
Yeah, I liked it. We're still kind of quarantined now. Like we've been on a 2-year quarantine, but it was nice.
Some people got to get back with their families and children, and then other people like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Why, you know. It was interesting. I went to a church thing, and
people were killing each other.
The pastor minister asked everybody in the circle, how did you feel about the COVID house? And everybody was pretty much saying, well, I'm trying to get used to it, or, you know, I'm not used to not working, or I want, and then this one lady said, oh, I'm enjoying this. Yeah. Oh my God. She was the only one that's like excited, like her whole life has been in the office.
Yeah. You know? I thought it was beautiful. I told people that this is the time, this is a great time. It is a blessing, you know, to be able to take advantage of being in the house. A lot of reading, a lot of getting soul searching, getting into yourself, you know, your family and just everybody around you, and just things that you learn so much. A lot of people have been learning a whole lot about themselves. They've been building, they've been getting into hobbies and arts and crafts and just all.
It's both sides. Like I met a lady yesterday in a delivery for Walmart. She said, I had a restaurant. I couldn't hang in there.
Right.
So I know I want to do it again, but just between me and my family, we couldn't hang in there with the COVID. So I'm now delivering, putting things in your car for, you know, but then you got other people, it forced them to say, okay, yeah, I can't, okay, I'm going to switch to something else.
And you know, and that's the thing, a lot of people did switch to things that they never would have thought would have been a great little job. But they have actually switched to some things. So, you know, we're not just one person set in stone. Everything changes as long as we have cells that regenerate. In our minds, we are constantly building on something. I think this is like my 10th new life or something. You know, it's always something new and different.
Regenerating. If you can accept that, if you just stay still, that's one thing. And some people do.
Yeah, some people like, oh, okay, well, you know.
That's life. We get government cheese and do straight. The government give us this, and other people say, no,
I'm gonna find
something else.
Yeah.
And so I'm one of those. Like I even say the DJs, the guys that spend parties overseas, and they make $3,000 spending for 3 hours at the warehouses, and everybody's jacking it. When the COVID came, no more big parties. So now, the ones that's in Chicago, they come back and they ain't got no work. For years, you've been,
Right.
So now, damn, do I teach? Do I do deliveries? My wife is,
Right, you get it.
Some do streaming. Okay, they're on the internet and they're doing, so like, I'm still here, y'all.
Right.
But that ain't this though.
Right.
You're doing it from your house.
And see, the thing is that they've boosted up the amount of people that you need to get some money off of that.
Yeah.
What is that, like 50, 100 million, 1,000 likes?
That's true. That's true. So you gotta have a certain kind of focus so you can go for that. But one of the DJs named David Mays, E&E Records recordings, he said, while I'm streaming, Spike, why don't you start paint while I'm spinning? And then we could auction these paintings, and and that started like, okay, like you just said, that's a whole new thing.
Yeah. That this is where it's coming from. Everything is involved in media.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what I'm doing, but everything is involved.
Multimedia.
Yeah, everything is involved in media. I think I told you, but that's where everything is going. However, it's other things that you can do. I won't tell you because I want you going into what I'm going to do. But I got a plan. It's just some things that I've seen all sorts of talent and things come out of people just during this COVID. You have to be creative and hungry at the same time, I guess, creative and hungry.
A lot of people say that, but it's also scared too. Yeah, but you should be scared sometimes if you're stepping into the unknown.
But that's what, that fear is what makes you, more, what do you call it, eager and more motivated to get out there and do something that you are.
And there's some spiritualists to that. When I say spiritual, meaning, depending on how you raise, sometimes you say, if you God's child and He got you, you always hear like He got the birds, He'll take care of you. And then you say, okay, I got where my bills coming from, I got to work, da. But if you jump off that ledge and you really know God got you, you might land on some sand or water or something, pick you up and then take you.
Right, and I told my mother.
Look down, no, I'll stay right here.
Right.
I'm staying in Chicago. That's it.
Well, now God will give you anything that you deserve, but you have to be realistic about things.
Yes.
You have to be realistic about things. You can have whatever you want, but be realistic.
Yeah.
It's like buying a house. You're not gonna buy a house that needs to be fixed up all the time. So much stuff,
Right.
Raggedy house that needs to be fixed up. But at the same time, you don't have a penny and no way to find anything else. Don't start making plans on buying a $10 million home.
Right.
Because it doesn't make any sense. God gives you what you can afford for right now and what you deserve.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be careful. Why would I give? God said, why should I give you all this money and you screwed up that money? Come on now. Prove you a little bit better than that, right? AJ is our cameraman. Yeah, I heard so much about AJ. He's supposed to be a famous photographer.
Supposed to be?
Yeah, he's a famous photographer, isn't he?
I think so.
I think he is because he's won an award. And he's I've heard a whole lot about him, and he's here.
He's here.
here.
Get up,
Hey, AJ.
Arliss Jones, the one and only.
Yeah, so now after you did the, or did you just continue with the music?
Well, in high school, grammar school, I said I did a few of the events and stuff, but I really couldn't play. But they supported parents and teachers. But high school, they had the marching band.
Right, yeah.
They had the classical band that we battled other schools like Julian and CBS and Seminole.
That's the music out there.
That's another music.
That's the music out there.
So I played in high school, at Corliss High School, I played the timpanis, or the kettle drum. That's that real doom 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 doom.
Oh, okay.
And
wait a minute, that's the one that you hold that strap.
No, that's the bass drum in the marching band. I'm talking the one that looks like a big pot.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, yes.
And you push a pedal on it and it tightens the.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What made you think of that one?
It wasn't. I couldn't play the snare drums like all those other guys. I couldn't do all that. So he said, I'm going to put you on the xylophone because I already knew piano. And for to win this competition, to sound like a real orchestra, it was like that vibraphone thing and the timpani. Yeah, that was my setup on the stage. Everybody else was trombones and horns. And we won a lot of competitions. But that was new for me.
That was at Corliss?
That was at Corliss High School.
Oh, okay.
Then the basketball games, you had the funk band. You sit in the corner and everybody playing today's funky stuff. So that was me playing guitar. And I thought I was good then, but it really wasn't that,
Well, you're not sure. Do you have a question? We have someone in the audience that would like to ask you a question.
Okay, all right.
Spike, when you went to New York, why did you leave AJ?
It's interesting. I think the camera guy, AJ, was embarking on doing a magazine, and he had 2 or 3, I guess his team, some ladies, and in doing all of that, something in my spirit was just like, it's gotta be more to this with business, because I'm not seeing it. But it's not just AJ, it was everybody around Chicago are creative.
Right.
But that is not matching up with what I'm seeing other people saying it's like in New York, or when they say go to New York, you're gonna make it, or you're gonna come back home.
Right.
And so
if you can't make it there, you can't make it anywhere.
Nobody, including Mr. AJ, talked about branding, agreements, trademarks, time frames, deadlines, delegating duties, what percentage we're gonna get paid, meetings to come up with products.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about money moving forward.
Right, but I hadn't been around people that do it. I knew it existed.
Right.
So like I said, in me, everybody around me is very creative, but something with the business is
On the business side, it means that you're moving forward
that's
into
that coin, creative
the banking world.
versus the business,
Right.
or sales versus the people that make it.
Right, yeah, and I can understand that.
So that New York allowed me to stay creative, but I did bump into those that were on that other side. Good or bad, there is another side.
Right.
And so that coin got heads and tails. So now I feel like some situations around me, I see things differently now. I'm creative, but
you know what? You had to do something like that in order to move on, in order to develop, in order to change your imagination, the way you think. Everybody has to have different styles and you had to get.
But I took that chance.
Yeah, you had to get that New York because I don't know if I told you that my family is from New York.
Oh, okay.
When we were kids. And then when I went back to New York, I think I was 11 years old. You have to be a certain type of person to live in New York. Just to walk down the street.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody called us a-holes.
Yeah.
I was like, what the? A-hole? 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 I'm an a-hole? Yes. There's another question from the audience.
Spike, what is your best creation as far as painting?
My best creation was sold to I don't say a white guy. I painted on 75th at the jazz spot over there on, is it Jeffrey or something? The
I know what you're saying.
It's on the corner.
It's I know what you're saying.
that jazz spot.
Yeah.
I played
71st and okay, it's
Theophilus Reed. I think that's his name, Theophilus. He was the main artist performing.
Okay.
He sings, and he had an 8-piece band, upright bass, a conga guy, vibraphonist. He had the whole thing, and he said, Spike, come paint at this place. So I bring my easel, and I'm going over in the corner. He said, no, I want you on the stage. Okay.
Oh.
All right, that's cool.
Okay.
With the band. It's a big band.
Oh, okay.
So he got me right there where everybody can see me. And the painting I painted, it was already a painting when I put it on the easel.
Right.
I bought it as a full finished painting, and it looked nice,
Uh-huh.
whatever it was.
Right.
So as they're playing through the first hour, I'm messing it up. I'm turning it. It's a perfect square. It's a big one. So I'm turning it this way and doing other stuff. People are like, what is he doing? But they're listening to him doing this thing, but they're seeing me flip. That's why I call it flipping the painting.
Okay.
Not just physically flipping it, but erasing what's on there and making something out of it. When I finished, the white guy came up and said, I'll buy that for $800. Let it go for $800. $800! And then when he said that, some other black ladies came up and they said, we want that too. So he's standing there like what you gonna do? You know me, I'm thinking I want the $800. I don't know what they offering.
Right, yeah.
They offer $100, they said $200. He said, well, you know what, if you give me that for $500 and some two of these other paintings you did, and let them, and so I sold out everything I painted. The guy asked me to paint one painting. I had extra canvases in my trunk, just in case. Some were finished, some had stuff on them. Everything I painted, I sold. I left that place with about, it might have been $1,000. And I gave one to the owner for free.
And you have a very unique style. I like that blue one I asked you about.
So that was the one, the guy that asked the question. That was, the painting was very nice. It was a collage of musical things, like a piano and things going through it. But that was just, what was happening was as the band was playing, my thoughts were going different places. So that's what made the painting what they were playing.
Right,
really.
creativity.
I wasn't trying to draw a woman or thinking I'm gonna draw a car or wine. It was like, let the music take me, you know.
Yeah. So another question from the audience.
Mr. Spike, who is your mentor that you're mentoring right now?
One of them would be you, sir. I mean, the mentoring part would come from when I returned to Chicago. We connected somehow. We always bumped each other at festivals. He'd come up, hey, Spike, and then he'd say, why you leave me? I didn't know I hurt him so bad. But in me coming back,
But he had to.
he still was the same AJ, fun guy, cool guy, but still no business. Yet he's still elevated because he's showing me pictures with celebrities.
I know.
And then everybody go, oh, I know him. Or he'll say, I know her. And sure enough, his memory. Oh, back in '84 when they had this festival. Yes.
Yeah, he's
So he's been around.
a genius there. I've seen the pictures. The pictures are fantastic. Some of the pictures, I haven't seen all of your pictures.
He's got
but I
good
know
stuff.
that
But he's a networker too. So that's a good thing. But like I said, on that coin, heads and tails. He's heads, that's meeting people and all that, but the tail part is that branding and the money and the percentage and the contracts and all that other stuff. And there are good people with it and there are shady people with it too. And there are some people that don't need no paperwork, they just do what they say.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you go to a bank or a restaurant, when you finish doing the creative part, which is eating and cooking, it will be a fee.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Or a tip.
You ain't getting up out of there about it.
Yes.
One more question.
What do you like about AJ?
What I like about AJ is there's a certain magic that happens with certain people. So let's just say I'm going to a grocery store and we kicking it. He's gonna dip off and find somebody else to ask them something. Do you know the difference in this chocolate and that chocolate? I wasn't even thinking about that. But that's him. I don't know if he's making up the stuff to get a conversation going, or the girl looks nice, or whatever. It doesn't matter if it's a girl or a guy. He's gonna find some way to interact with stuff around you, and sometimes that leads to
Well,
good things.
and that's a wonderful thing. But I tell you one thing, AJ. No personal questions like that, okay? This is the show we doing. We're not talking about you now, okay? We talking about now whatever kind of that's something you call them up on the telephone. What you need, okay? So we're gonna have to cut all this out, okay?
So we were talking about the positive and negative about New York. One of the things we were talking about creative versus business.
Right.
So one thing with my creativeness, this guy that worked for MCA Records said Spike can paint too. So I'm in New York, just living, trying to say what's in New York. He works for MCA or RCA, one of them. I think it's MCA. He gets a Jewish guy who's married to a Jewish lady, and they do all the stuff in Dwayne Reed, which is like CVS or New York got Dwayne Reed and Dwayne Wright or whatever. It's like a Walgreens.
Oh, okay.
They had a meeting and they said, well, Spike can come back next week, draw some Christmas cards. Like, we want to do Christmas cards with music. You open it up and
oh yeah, right. I like those.
But the wife's, now the guy was the face of the business, but it was the woman that really was who I peeped that, but to make a long story short, I created some drawings, some Christmas trees, of Santa Clauses, and they said, we want to hear the traditional song of Christmas. You know, whatever songs I even sang some in another language, and he said, you did a good job. Then, do it my way. Put a funky beat on it, make it like Slick Rick. She said, I like both. Let's do this. So they made a thing to put it in like the Walmarts with the Christmas cards and this and that. And this is what I learned in New York. The creativity made that situation happen. Now, when we got down to the business of it, they're going to take my creativity, put it on a card. That's another company that makes the card, the paper, the shrink wrap, the packaging of it to put it in Walmart.
Right.
Now, what does everybody get paid? So I did the music. They didn't pay me to do the music. I did the music for the opportunity.
Okay.
They're going to sell the card for $7, $6.99 on the store, on the thing.
Oh, okay.
The company that makes the plastic, and they get $1.25. The card is $7.
Okay.
Guess how much Spike gets? The card is $7. Out of the $7, the company that makes the card, they get $1.25.
Okay.
Spike that made the music and the drawing, what did they offer me?
50 cents? $1?
There's a quarter.
Oh, okay. I was
Now, the guy that brought me to the situation was sort of over me. He's the one that was trying to put my music in label. So they told us go see the attorney, and the attorney said, well, they are lowballing you. You should get $1 or something, you know. No, so the attorney said if they put your stuff out around the world, you make sure your logo, get your name recognition, and you can use that to do something else of your own. Because they're putting it out everywhere. There's a Walmart. Okay, my buddy said, he said, well, if Spike can keep creating music, this don't have to be the dead end. This could be a learning experience.
In fact, you could have done that for everybody.
Right. So my buddy was like, no, 25 cents, and we splitting that? That's nothing. The attorney lawyer said, well, see if they can come down. Ask both companies, the one that make the card and will they come down. We went back to the meeting. The Jewish guy and the wife said, no, we're not budging.
Okay.
Now the company that makes the cards, if we don't do the music, they lose their business.
Okay.
With this going went all over. So they were willing to come down off their $1.25 to give us 25 cents. So they go to $1, give us a 25 cent, we go to 50. My partner still was like, no. So it failed. Even though I saw my music in the store on the promo, sitting like in front of Walgreens with cards, they were going to do it.
Well, that comes from greed.
And I never in Chicago saw my music turn from in the studio to a product that's going to be displayed and sold all around the world. And it got messed up because I didn't know what to say because I had never been in that situation.
Wow.
Business part. So even in Chicago, no matter how much music I do with people, I'm always, part of it is you give it because you love, and music does do stuff like that. Even the guys that play in the park, they're not trying to brand and sell shirts, and they're playing from a spirit.
Right.
But the stuff we hear on the radio, when they're doing sellout concerts at Live Nation, that's the other side. They are selling books and calendars and games, and
yeah, T-shirts
and put your music with car companies and ice cream and
yeah. But so you have to be a very business-like person to everything you had just got to saying to be able to manipulate into all those different worlds.
Yeah. So gaining all of that, let's just say that was one experience. Let's just say I went through 8 or 10 of those in different scenarios. Then you come back to Chicago, everybody sees your face, hey, that's Spike. But you actually have grown, you know what I'm saying? And then if you start trying to apply what you learned to those that haven't moved, it's like a bunch of guys that just smoke weed on the porch and then come back 10 minutes later. They still smoking, and they still out, like I might, maybe then I would smoke with them, but now I'm saying, could you, why don't you take that money and buy me a guitar or something that I could, they're not even seeing it. They don't see you like that. They see you as that same thing. So that's, I say, well then why did God allow me to do all this and get all this information if I'm not going to become
You are
that person?
Yeah. and you actually are. You are that person.
Exactly.
You are that person.
Yeah.
He allowed you to become that person. You are that person.
So you gotta meet the situation. It's almost like comparing Moses to lead his people. So you gotta go through things.
You gotta go through
to
things.
be prepared for when that does come.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking at it from that angle, it makes sense. You have to thank God for all the negative
But
lessons.
you got to also kind of let things kind of flow in a certain way. And when you do that, then what is due you and the people and the places and the things, they're going to fall into place. And
I believe that.
And they're going to fall into place. It's only a short period of time that you have, but it is going to fall into place. Trust me, it is going to fall into place. God's going to bring you everything that you need.
So I met in New York. It was also interesting. This wasn't one of the questions, but you go in New York, you see people you see on TV walking down the street, and if you call them by what you see them on TV, they get upset because that's not who they are.
Oh yeah, right.
So so that has happened a couple times. So it's kind of funny. I had walked past Queen Latifah. I didn't even recognize she had a hoodie on and my boy. But Queen Latifah is Queen Latifah. Right, but some other people, like on Spike's movies, they got other names. And his sister, I called her something. She actually got mad. I mean, I was wrong, but that was me. I didn't say, excuse me,
aren't you the lady that plays?
Aren't you the lady that played this? No, you first be like, you're. Yeah.
But just imagine they get that every day, all day long. They can't go any place, and sometimes they get rude a little times,
And I like that about New York. It was that edge, that straightforward that's turned some people off. It didn't bother me. I'd rather you tell me straight up, I don't know, go over there, they don't, versus let's be cool and talk, waste 3 months being cool and not get nowhere. New York was just straight to it.
Right. That's what I like.
So,
get to the point.
Yeah. So I met that was a venture from Chicago to a faster paced city. I'm thinking it's slow here. Go there, it's fast. More lights, more everything, more energy.
Right.
You go, there's certain neighborhoods that's a little less, but you go in Harlem, oh man, they ride motorcycles, screaming out the window, fighting, selling drugs, 3 places on the block. It's just noise all day.
All day long. That's why I say you just get called all sorts of names all day long.
42nd Street, downtown, lights. Just Chicago is toned down to New York. You just
Chicago is a more sophisticated.
So when you come back here, you can appreciate like this is okay. This is kind of cool because you get burnt out over there. So, but I know the difference. So this is to me slower here, but okay. It's not the slowest,
Right.
you know. And
Yeah, it's not the slowest. It's faster for some other places.
Yeah.
You know, they can't even handle it.
right. And then on the music side, New York, that's a cultivation of so many other cultures that come there from offshore, from them islands, St. Croix, Jamaica. They're all over there in Brooklyn and these different spots. And their music, part of their culture, they play on the radio. I have never in Chicago turned on Sunday and heard them saying, Caribbean stuff. Over there, that's what they're playing. And it actually sounds good.
They don't
But
play that on the radio here, period, do they?
no. You know what I'm saying? All that Caribbean stuff. It's beautiful
I like it.
music.
Yeah.
It's not even, today's stuff is rap or hardcore, but
That's all that they play.
it's
is that.
beautiful stuff. And it's like, we don't hear it.
We're so far behind. It's just ridiculous.
Then the other thing, what I noticed in New York, my job was going to different people's homes for Social Security. So you have to have a partner that speaks Spanish language.
For Social Security,
So those that need money or help, some people lie about it and get help. You know, they play the game, and other people really do need furniture, food, and stuff.
Okay.
So we go there to find out they're lying, or okay, she said she stayed alone, but there was some weights right there. So, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And they got the Jewish guys with that. They saying their wives pregnant have no money, but the husband owns a warehouse, so they're playing the game.
Right. Yeah.
But when going in those homes, we would go to their homes, do 5 or 8, more like 5 visits to find out their situation. I noticed I don't see Jesus everywhere like in the city. In Chicago, Lord Jesus Christ, the God. And I'm going to this house. When you walk under the door, there's a sword over there, Saint Guatemala and Saint this and the Legua over there in this house. So that was a little like from a spiritual thing. It kind of made me more global minded too. Like there's not just one light.
Right.
Everybody gets it's the branches of a tree.
Right. Yeah.
But in Chicago, you just see there's one tree, the branch goes like this.
And it's that Jesus, that one famous Jesus.
He's one light pole, but he's not the only light pole. It's some other lights. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Irrespective of all, they all different paths, but they come to that same root, that tree. So if we did that, you would see most trees, the branch ain't fighting with the other branch over there. They trying to kill each other. But that's where we are now with the religion.
But now this is what I wanted to ask you. You said that you had to go into these people's homes.
Yes.
I never knew about people doing that.
Yeah, it was called you can stay in the office or you can go out. Most people didn't want to stay in the office because we get the free bus pass. And we go to your home so we don't have to inconvenience you of trying to go to the office to do all the paperwork.
Wow.
So we go to your house, but we're watching
everything
that you're doing. So some people had, I hate to say it, but roaches.
I know they did that with public aid. I didn't know they did that with,
Yeah. So that was a job I could have kept for a career because we're saving the government money. Because we're not just giving everybody money. We're really saying, what do you need?
Right. And
you may just need a little bit of food or you need a lot of furniture. Like you got babies and you don't have nothing.
Right, yeah.
So,
that would be good.
But I started learning Spanish, baño, restroom and all that stuff. But one of my partners, he was an a-hole to the supervisors inside. And they put it with me and him clicked because he knew New York and he had a negative vibe to people. But we connected for some reason, and I always looked at New York like an adventure. Coming from Chicago, I want to see what Wu-Tang store is. Where's this? Where's that? So he kind of took me, not like his son, but like I'm gonna show you. And he was a spiritual guy on the darker side.
Okay. So
like he would say, like F you, and go home and pray about that energy. And then something happened, you get a car accident, and you gotta, I had never experienced that before. But it was the first time me thinking that your thoughts can manifest things.
And your thoughts can.
And his negativity can come back to him.
Don't put those words out there.
Yes!
Those words are...
So, this may not be where the film is going to taping right now, but I want to say that if you pray for somebody to be, I love you, God bless you, you're going to get well, good luck with your, good luck, or...
That's why they say...
That's energy.
That's that energy, and you have more people praying for you, that's more energy being, that's what helps people recover.
It's unseen, but it's real.
Yeah.
Now, if you put that, so picture this. If you pray to an egg and say, da 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 da, bless you, all this good stuff, and then give it to you as a gift. Maybe you just see it in your house, but it's still good energy on there. But now, there's the flip side. The hell with her, I want you to go to bed, throw it at your house on your porch or your car.
Right.
That's what that is. Yeah. So you have to be strong, and then that energy go back to that person. But if you're weak and don't know who you are, etc., you just it's supposed to bounce off you. Like if you got God's covering, it's not meant for you. So that's another thing I picked up in New York. I'm just saying that was because it was all around. And then that same guy took me to a spiritual shop where they have all the dolls and sculptures.
Okay.
It was shocking to see that for Santeria, a lot of black dolls. Santeria, Oshun, Yamaya, all that, Ogun, and the Lewa, and the Obatala. They the sculptures that represents the spirits or the energy, they were black. But the people that you see are not Italian, not Mexican, what was it, Spanish? Basically Spanish people.
Yeah, because I thought that they came from Haiti.
Yeah, but I'm saying even so, that didn't really make sense to me, but they know that it came from the true thing. So you see some dolls that are like represented like like you see in the church, the white whatever.
Right.
But then I'm saying, okay, that one is. These are the same. They represent the same thing. But how come that this one is pitch black doll, and this one over here is like the white angel?
Right.
That was new. I never experienced that in Chicago because everything is just Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? So you start asking questions and figuring out.
Well, like they say, black and white. Everything so great is white, and everything so bad is black.
Right. So one of the things that I figured out, like they said, everything under the dirt is dark. That's what nurtures stuff. And then also out in the ethers or look up in the skies, when you get past Earth, it's just black, right? With stars, whatever.
Right.
But somewhere out of that black energy, something exploded, and now we're here on Earth, right? So out of that darkness, that darkness had to be some energy.
It was energy.
You know what I'm saying?
Electricity.
So that goes back to the thoughts. That invisible is dark. You gotta say that thoughts is dark, but it comes out of what we say is nothing, and then it turns into something.
Yeah, it's what people put into things, and how they get.
So New York was good in that sense.
That's good.
Because I'm from Chicago, it's just do what your mom say. Go to this church,
Right. Yeah.
So
that was when. So when you did that, you went to Tang or something.
Well, in New York, I started playing with different type of producers and DJs, and one of the producers, Young Lord, he worked for Puff Daddy. He would call me to play the bass or keys, and I started realizing that the word got out. Spike would play a lot of instruments, so I really wasn't like, give me $150. I was just like, I'm from Chicago, I don't know nobody. Cool, you know Pete Rock, you know Puff Daddy.
Right, it's just the excitement.
And so the excitement but I realized, okay, I can Common from Chicago, he flew me, his management flew me to New York to work with Lauryn Hill for one of his records.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I know she was with the Fugees. When I got to the studio in New York, she came in, she had an aura about herself that was like a queen, you know? And when she sat down, just all the rappers and everybody there was just like it was almost like, without saying queen, you know, and she said, well, okay, Spike, they say you do all this. I want something, I'm gonna hum. She started humming. Said, play me something. I started playing something that went with what she's doing. She's like, no, make it a little darker. So she's customizing me to what's in her head.
Right.
Did that, and she said, okay, I'm listening for a bass part. So I'm playing it. She's like, that's the right notes, but it's not the feel I want. So she called a reggae guy. He played it the way she wanted. And she asked me to do some more stuff. So we looked up after 3 hours, she made a full song.
Wow.
Utilizing me for all the music.
And I like Lauryn Hill too.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was like, that was the first time somebody did that, like fully using me, like, can you play guitar? Okay, I'm hearing it, singing it. She's actually the musician,
right,
working it through me.
That's how fast some people make songs. Well, I just sat down for 1 hot second and he came over and we were just playing around and.
So she had that vision. So like, if you want to build this building, you can say, hey, you paint that, you put cement on, you can put cut the grass, and it looks beautiful, but it's still your vision.
Right.
So that was a good thing that happened, and I actually made $10,000 for 3 hours in the studio with Common one time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was in Chicago. That one. Now you know, working the same thing you're doing at your home for free. When you put it with the business entity, it turns $10,000 for 3 hours. Something I probably do at home all day, and nothing. So that's that taking the talent and it's got to be put in front of the right people.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, and then after where you been all this time for?
I've been doing a lot of stuff for dance labels. Because they do a lot of digital formats and they don't have live guitar or wah-wah or somebody to play on top and sing sometimes. So that's...
What's the dance?
Dance music is, like up-tempo.
Okay.
I don't know if you was at tempo 117, 123, that's like boom, 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 you know. That was disco, like that sound.
Exercise music too. Oh, okay, yeah.
The up-tempo.
Okay.
So, but the labels here are independent. They're not like Columbia, Sony, but they're doing stuff with vinyl.
That's the thing, that everybody is doing everything for themselves.
Yes.
See, that is something that I think COVID had brought a lot out of productive people.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even before then, but this is the time that they get the opportunity, and probably still does, you know. But a lot of people are doing what they want to do instead of involving other people into it.
Mm-hmm.
And you seem like that type of person that can do whatever you want to do without having to rely on other people.
Yeah.
But you do know that sometimes you have to rely on other people.
Yeah. Well, that's one.
If you had a good network system, a good membership team, you know, that I don't know why I call it.
We always need a team.
Yeah,
we don't think we do, but you need a team.
You really do. And trying to find that team is hard to do, you know, because everybody is not that 100% motivated as you are.
Right. They fall into your vision, you know. You already, if you have a team, sometimes you already know what that's supposed to look like.
Right. Yeah.
And so, versus waiting for them to pop into
that's true. That is so true.
So that's interesting, but you gotta have that team, you know. And then like even in Chicago, it's not about Chicago, anybody watching, your team, in my opinion, just from the guy that's making music in the neighborhood or playing at the church or in your basement, somewhere down the line, you're gonna need a booking agent that knows where the shows are and how much percentage you get off the seats.
Oh, that is true.
You're gonna need a manager that can say, you should work with that clothing company versus that one. Or this one, the manager sort of protects you. Let's do that label or that label, or let's do that show versus this show. And he'll tell you the good or bad, but it's your choice. But at least he's telling you
Right.
the information.
You have to have somebody who knows all these things.
Your manager would know if you got if you eat those peanuts, you're gonna break out, and then we can't do the show.
Right.
You learn, you know, you don't want some girls coming in your room, but your sister can come in the back room.
Right.
You know, so your manager, and you got your attorney. And it could be an entertainment attorney if we're entertaining.
Right.
He's the one that knows how to put your music in films.
Oh, really?
Take it to a certain. Your manager might be able to hook my music up with a beer company or something, but that attorney knows how to do the legalities.
Right.
And connect you with stuff you would never have a chance to see, because his title is, you know, some higher stuff.
Wow.
Like putting Spike's music on the NBA, or connecting it with Pampers, or horse race, or that's not coming from the manager. It's more just protecting me.
But have you noticed that they use music for everything?
Yeah. So those are three people. You know, then you may need security person. Like, I'm not going on stage unless he's paid half up front.
Right.
Or it's half is going on my bank account when we finish. But we're not touching that stage until.
Yeah.
Versus you do the whole show and then everybody waiting around for 5 hours. Where you go? Where did you go? So we're not playing that game, you know. And then it goes on. You can say the road manager. You know, you can do all your shows. The road manager don't want to see you. He's protecting the truck,
Right.
your clothing, all that other stuff. And there may be a few other entities that you need, but those, like the branding and the logos and all of that, and your accountant, that's a whole nother thing.
Man, that's a whole lot.
You know, you make $100.
So when I become famous, that's what's gonna happen?
Those entities
I'm gonna need all those people?
help you to stay focused on, you can focus on your craft and have all that other stuff going on.
Right.
So,
Other than that, I have to try to find out.
yeah. Now, all this stuff, whether you have them or not, they exist.
Right.
I made $10,000 from 3 hours working with Connie. And I went out and bought $10,000 of equipment. All right, so I'm happy. Uncle Sam, hey, you owe us taxes.
Oh, that's right.
You buy a hamburger at McDonald's, don't they add that tax? It was $1, they go $1.10, $1.15, or whatever it is. So you do that times 10,000. And so they start hitting you with, so I was like, oh, so that's why you gotta have a manager, somebody like, you just got paid. Okay, the accountant, take that out. And you ain't gotta worry about that. Now you can go spend that. But don't go spend it all and then you go owe
You
that.
still gotta owe it. That's trouble right there.
So those are some of the things that you, the ones that are established, you recognize that's the agent, or that's the manager, that's the security one.
And where do you get these people from? I mean, they do their research on all this stuff?
Well, like when you get signed, if you get signed to it, I've never been signed, I had opportunity to, but if you do get signed, everybody has to, they have houses and homes and families, so how do they get paid? You know? I was told Michael Jackson probably started off as getting 12% of, let's just say Sony or whatever company makes $100.
Right.
That means Michael Jackson was getting $12 out of the 100. You can say that's unfair, but they're doing all the stuff to put them everywhere and all of that, and they so.
Well, that would be okay with me.
But as he got wiser and smarter, then it take one song, it took several albums. How many albums Michael Jackson got? But then you start going up to 25% or 35%.
That's when he had that beef with Sony.
Right.
That's when he had that beef with them. Wow.
So even with Prince, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what he signed when he left Minneapolis. And
Yes, yeah, and
you don't know what he signed.
too, yeah.
Yeah, they're wealthy, but it's got to be something beyond wealth when they're upset.
But you know what? Well, at least Prince and Michael Jackson, some of the people like that, kept some parts of their money. But some of these people, they weren't able to have any money. They were bankrupt and somebody stole, their manager stole all the money.
Yeah.
I don't understand what that's all about. But
The masters, that's what everybody talks, the masters, the ownership of your music and all of that. Yeah. But think about it. Oh, it's probably over 300 artists that we grew up from Motown days. They are not all deceased. So where are they? Where, you can't say they all in senior homes and they still singing, humming under the. Where are they?
some of them out there.
Somebody on those casinos, you see, bring back the you know, Regina Bell and OJ's and feature, you know, but there was a lot of souls on these records. Where are they? We're not hearing them.
If you want to hear where some of these people are, I'll let you know. I know where some of them are.
I wish it could be somehow fused together with just a plethora of, I don't know. It shouldn't be just they just got stomped on and then here come the new stuff.
It's no time.
Like where are the Barry Whites? Where are the future Al Greens? You got a few Anthony Hamilton and you got later Hathaways and then pop up, but it's not. And then you said the bands.
Right.
No more Commodores, no more. You got Mint Condition. That's about it from the black side. We hear about Mint Condition.
Do they even have bands anymore?
No, then all the guy groups came in, you know, in Vogue and Boys and Men and all that. It was an era. Now, what is it now? It's more like single guys and they're doing a vocoder and rap is taking over.
Yeah, with the dancers. These really cute people on the videos. That's where it's going. It's selling for. So now, what are your plans now? What's going on?
Well, my plans is with all this experience and knowledge, there is a part of me, I have yet to tour. That's something I still would love to do once. But my mindset is how could I be like a enterprise or like a creative Walmart.
Oh,
the side of the Walmart are all kind of entities that fit my vision.
Yeah.
So if it's about inspiring, educating, entertaining the youth or the global community, then in my Walmart, I can have products, merchandise, blogs, radio, clothing, entertainment, just the whole thing under that helm.
Wouldn't it be great if in your Walmart you could
games,
teach children and probably young people who are out here trying to learn music and singing, how to really, like emphasis on this is what we used to do back in the day. We had to learn how to do this.
Right.
You had to learn how to sing. You had to learn how to play an instrument. Back then, even the women were playing instruments and guitars and pianos and.
I love that. Like
it should be a little bit more than shaking your butt.
It should be hands on with some. Like
for me and them.
How often do you see a music class and you let them sit down like a quartet jazz band?
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
A little kid on the upright, none on the drums, none on the piano, none on the guitar, and just play one or two notes, but play it like and be able to explain this is a guitar and this is a case for that and this is a chord and this makes it go brighter. This is what makes it. How many people get to stand and do that?
They need to go back to. That's what they really need to go back to. Have you heard when you think about the Temptations music, the music on the Temptations, young people, is something you've never heard before. That music of the Temptations, Papa was a roller, and Psychedelic Shack.
All that.
That music was just, and it was just one. Did you know that it was just? I think like 2 or 3 guys that made that music, right?
That band, what was it called?
I forget.
The song.
for all.
It's about 5
all
of
them
them.
in Motown, they made that. That's why they hit that sound. That sound was out of this world.
Yeah, they didn't get recognized for that till later.
Yeah, because they did a documentary on them. The music.
So this goes back to contracts too. Now I know James Brown's sister.
Oh, do you? Yeah. What's her name?
They call her Fannie Brown.
That's what I was just trying to figure out. What's her name?
Karima Muhammad. Make a long story short, when James Brown died, the band dissipated because he was the money man. And all the bills for films and everything, concerts,
so
was his
messed up.
negotiating. So when he died, they didn't know how to go to LA or connect with the powers that be. So Maceo went his way, started his band. But James Brown band, he had 3 guitarists.
And that music was good. I used to love the dance off of James
But
Brown.
everybody just went. The drummer is still alive. His name is Tony something, Tony Allen or whatever. Tony something. He still
All they did
plays.
is just stay together and just keep on trucking.
Sounds simple.
Uh-huh.
But when they did the movie, nobody could say nothing about the real experiences because people making a movie want to tell a certain story, but they weren't with the people. Like James Brown's sister that said, no, that's wrong. He dated her first, but she could pinpoint because she was there.
Right.
But they're not talking to her, and she's not getting part of that.
They just putting together what they. Yeah, that's so messed up.
But the contract part, while James was blowing up, everybody was getting paid, so it was happy. But when he died, now there's no paperwork.
Yeah, and so that means that it's all over.
Yeah, basically, it's all over. You did all those years, and now, do we work delivering again? Do we how do you start over when you did most of your life with, you know what I'm saying?
They could start over. I mean, it would.
But those are the untold stories.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
untold
saying?
stories. I know it's a lot of untold stories.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Roy Ayers live. I opened for him.
Roy Ayers.
See that? I don't have no footage. I didn't have an AJ with me back in New York.
Right, yeah, I love Roy.
But I opened for Roy Ayers and Layla Hathaway at different times. But Roy Ayers seemed like he was mad at the industry. He was just saying he's on like his 13th album, but he still had a like I'm gonna do me,
Right.
regardless of. So again, regardless of what, it's something that ain't right with the business stuff with
Right,
everybody.
it's something that's not.
Cause he's still doing him.
Because somebody up Talent is not really out there. Roy Ayers used to play in Chicago a lot.
Yeah.
I love Ward too.
Yeah. Ward. Yeah.
And Chicago.
Cisco Kid.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You don't hear groups like that no more.
You
eh?
don't. It's just, it's sad. It is so really sad.
Yeah. So that's, it's very interesting. Going back real quick to James Brown, I know that he was banned, what they call blackball you. When you don't do what they say,
Yeah.
they kind of get rid of you, So when they did that to him, what's the guy in Chicago with the hat? He died too, that was on the radio. Herb Kent.
Uh-huh.
He took him on and said, we're gonna do the chicken circuit, James. We're not gonna let the powers that be mess you up.
Right.
Now this is coming from his sister telling me the real scoop.
Yeah.
So they ban him from the big stuff.
Right.
Herb Kent takes him, brings him in all the hoods, and they banned James because he said, I'm not giving him all this money no more. When I do a show, now think about this. When I do a show, you need an hour or two to get everybody in. I need an hour or two to do the show. And I need an hour to clean up and get out. 5 hours. So how much are you charging to run this amphitheater? So whatever that fee is, I got that. Bam.
Right.
So everything that's made from vendors, whatever, that's mine. I can sell my stuff.
Right.
It's mine, not y'all. They didn't like that.
They don't like for you to get too smart.
So he was winning doing it because he peeped it. Like they getting all that. No, I can do this myself.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take that scenario and put it to all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I think those type of stories are like a dime a dozen. We don't know them all, but I know that everybody has their own little story that they want to talk about.
Yeah. And we're losing someone. I wish your show. I've recently lost 2 friends of mine that were cameramen. One worked at in the museums in Chicago. He said the stuff they have in the back, they don't even put it in the front. Some of the stuff that they show the public. I've worked there. He said I worked there 20 years, and some of the stuff that's from other cultures, and we never see it. He's dead now, so we never know what. You know what I'm saying? If he could have been interviewed, that would have been very something.
But they have to monitor a lot of these things, and once they have to monitor it. It's gonna have to probably go back. But see, thank God, now we get the internet, they got YouTube and all these other things, and you can't put it on there. You
can get out.
Yeah, it'll still be able to get out, you know. I still believe in television, and I believe that television is going to take a person a little bit further. But also, I think that internet, see, I don't go by those. Everybody's talking about these numbers. I said, okay, but I mean, all these numbers, what is it really going to get you?
Yeah.
If it, I mean, after you get 10 million, they give you what, like $100 per 10 million?
Versus if you was getting that money yourself, right? If you got $1 times every million people, you know, I get you. You getting pennies.
You get pennies, and they making you work a little bit harder on it. But where are you going with that? You know, because see, so many people out there now, it's like ants all over the place on the internet. They
right.
You know, and they're telling me, oh, I have a radio station. And I'm like, you got a radio station?
Right.
And where's it at? It's on the internet.
That's true. You say I got a record label. Really?
It's a million people got a internet radio. I could get a radio. Get my niece, my little grandbaby a radio station.
Yeah.
But come on now.
Yeah.
I know, but it's some kind of way that everybody can do something in secret. It's not so much trying to be on there. I found out that people just trying to get attention.
Yes.
They're just trying to get attention.
Yeah.
But right now, we need everybody to start really trying to get attention for other people. Because we're in a desperate time. You know, it's not about shaking your butt and being a disgrace to other nations and races and all that. You have to try to wake some of these people up.
And how do you do that? It could be through the music, but I think you tapped on it earlier, a little bit of some teaching.
Some teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's, you know, but I can't do it all by myself.
That's like a song. I can't do it all by myself.
I can't do it all by myself. Make a song for me, and then I'll sing it. I can sing a little. So, yeah, make a song for that. But everybody can't do it. We're so individualized, you know, not coming together like as a team. But a lot of us, God is introducing us. I say this every time I have a show. God is introducing us for a particular reason. Me and you, we met for a particular reason through Him and Him. You know, so that everybody. Why? Because all of this is about media and getting out into the world, into the public. So, I mean, what do you see any type of connection in that? With us? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I already talked to your husband. The whole vibe is to give, not so much totally give back, but give our youth something to what's lacking.
Right.
So I already know, like,
yeah, because I can't really give back anything.
if you had 20 children, let's just say from the age 7 years old to 14 in here.
But give them help with the direction.
Do that as a consultant. Have they ever painted? Have they ever painted, like, okay, take a circle. Where does your imagination go with the circle? One person draw basketball, somebody draw the sun and the city under it. So if you're opening your brain to think, how many know etiquette? How to act, not to be cooking food with a pick in your hair, combing your hair.
I just got through saying that activities of daily living. You got to know how to eat, how to pay the bills, how to what's going on, occurring events in life, and it.
How many know how to cook anything? How many know how to sing or write a song? Even if you can't sing, learn the scale so you can say it. It's almost like, how do we give them a smorgasbord?
Acting.
Is that the word I'm looking at? A buffet?
Right. Yeah.
Of life things.
It
try golf, try this, try that, and then you can kind of, versus you just have nothing but this, and this, that's it.
Yeah, but it can start like you did right at home in your house, where your father had given you a lot of stuff. You know, he said, well, this is something, and with me, like with my mom gave me whatever I asked for. I wanted tap dance, and I got tap dancing, ballet dancing, African dancing. I mean, I was
So at
just
a young age, you knew they
yeah, I
saw
had
that.
martial arts, I had swimming. I mean, I did whatever I wanted to do. But it's a choice.
Yes.
My other two sisters didn't ask for that, but this is something that I like to do because I'm a little hyper.
Yes.
So, yeah, but if it's there, it should be there, you know, for.
So if you all provide that type of opportunity for them to experience some things, then as we get older, some of them fall off, some die, some get married, but they will pop up and say, thank you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have did or turned to this or that. And it happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It happens all the time. So you plant those seeds.
Yeah, sometimes
You know?
you can say something to somebody and
Encourages.
it does. It will, once you start opening up your mouth and putting it out there, just say good things to people, and no matter what, do not say any bad words, no negative words, do not bring it out whatsoever. Because
Easier said than done, but it's a conscious choice.
yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, listen, I want to thank you for being on my show.
Yeah.
And I would like for you to come back because
Well, I paint something live, show you how I paint man.
yeah, it's a whole, this is just an introductory to him because he's got so much that's going on with himself that we're going to have to tap into him a little bit more. But we did have a chance to learn about who the man was. And that's what KNTV is all about. It teaches people about other people. And this is the only time you'll be able to hear. See, most people don't understand that. But this is the only time that people will actually get a chance to talk about themselves. And that's through KNTV.
Yes. Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
So thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Say goodbye.
Markie's World. Mark.
This land is your land.